Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Correct? It's Wednesday?
It is. It is Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that some people aren't watching yet, but when they watch on replay, the reason why I'm having tech issues this morning, it finally just told me, because apparently my tech person scheduled these for Thursday, not Wednesday.
Oh, no.
So that's why we're having some problems. But we are here today, and it is Wednesday. Welcome, Teresa of Caffeine Creative, a web designer extraordinaire. Tell us what we're talking about today.
Today, we are talking about testimonials, and more specifically, how to strategically use your testimonials that I hope you're gathering. But if you're not, I talk about that as well. But how to strategically use them to nudge those curious tire kickers into being confident decision makers wanting to reach out and connect with you, because testimonials are gold.
All right, so let's talk about the testimonials and how they can place them properly on their website. But I will tell you, we do a lot of lessons in my Profit Insider Academy groups on how to get testimonials. So can we start there?
And that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I actually just launched a new course myself about how to get testimonials and then utilize them strategically in your website, which all your Profit Insiders can have access to for free.
Ooh, thank you.
So yes, but the first thing is you have to get testimonials. You've got to ask for the testimonials is the first thing. And that is the biggest thing. People are not going to beat down your door and give you a glowing testimonial. It just doesn't happen. Maybe 1 to 3% of the population, totally making that statistic up, but it's a small number that people are going to just volunteer testimonials. So first of all, you have to ask for them. But I also encourage people not to just say, hey, Nancy, would you mind giving me a testimonial? But be specific. What surprised you about working with me? What was the best aspect of my process? What changed and made your life better after working with me? Like, get really specific questions. Don't give a ton. Nobody wants to have to feel like they're taking a test, but pick 3 to 5 really strategic questions to ask them, and then allow them to choose which ones they're going to answer. So don't make it required fields, essentially, in the form that you're using, if you use a form, and get them to give specific details about that. When you ask those specific questions, that's when you get those really good, meaty testimonials that have people saying, yes, this is who I need. And that's what you want your testimonial to do.
I love that idea, giving them questions that can prompt their thought process. Some of the things you can think about when you're writing the testimonial, based on the following questions, or here's some questions that will prompt your thought process, or something like that.
Absolutely.
One of the other things that I always suggest is taking the compliments as they come along during your process as an interior designer, right? Because a lot of times they hit a point in the design process where people are not so happy. But before that, they're like, oh my God, you nailed the design. It's like you read my mind. This is going to be perfect. Write those sentences down. Or if you're recording, which we're teaching some our groups now to record their sessions with their clients, document them along the way. And then you can actually feed them to your client. These are some of the things you said during the process if you'd like to incorporate them into your testimonial.
Absolutely. Or just ask them, can I use this as a testimonial?
Yeah.
I got a message a couple of weeks ago. We just launched a new florist website, and they were about to run out of flowers the week we launched their website because they had so many interested people.
Wow.
Fantastic. Messaged me this. I'm like, oh my God, can I use this as a testimonial? Literally screenshotted it. And you can go see it on my Instagram page with a little picture of my kitty in the background on my phone. That it shows this message from a client because they were so excited. So ask in the moment, oh my God, thank you so much. Can I use that as a testimonial?
I do that all the time. I do that all the time during my groups. If someone says, oh my God, I learned, Nancy, I finally closed that huge client that we were working on because of the advice you gave me. I'll be like, can I use that as a testimonial? Yeah. I love it. And then the one other thing I want to mention during this part of our live is that writing the testimonials for the people also is a great thing.
It is a great thing. And sometimes people are afraid. They're like, well, I have to use it word for word. But if the grammar doesn't make sense, if you need to insert your name so the testimonial is more clear, if you need to adjust a spelling error because, they were, typing on their phone and they had a spelling error, or maybe they just can't spell. If you need to fix punctuation, like all of those things are acceptable. And what I do is I'll say, thank you so much for your feedback. I put together this testimonial to use in my marketing, which I took their content and turned it into a nice, clean testimonial. Are you comfortable with this, sharing this? And everybody is like, oh my God, thank you. You put it in. That's exactly what I want to say. And they're grateful because we get tongue-tied and don't always know what to say. Now, people like you and I who love to speak, not a problem.
Right.
Not everybody is comfortable with words. And so write that testimonial for them using their feedback and share it with them. And one other thing that I want to say, one hesitation some people have with giving testimonials, is they don't want to share their name. They often don't want to share their names, depending on the industry. They want some level of privacy. And you don't have to share names either. Right. You can share initials. You can share a made-up name. I've done that before when I was a life coach. My testimonials never were associated directly with a real name. Yes. They were made up names because of the work that I did. It was very sensitive and I wanted to be very private to my clients. So you can do that as well, as long as your intention is not to lie or manipulate. Right. Your intentions are to be truthful and honest and share real testimonials, then you're okay.
I agree. Okay. So now let's talk about, you've got your testimonials. You've gotten them through all the methods we just talked about, or one of the methods we just talked about. What do you do with them now on your website or on your social media, whatever you want?
Well, social media, definitely share them. You don't want to be sharing a testimonial like every single day. Like you want to sprinkle it in, but sprinkle those in like the glitter in your social media content to help give you a little bit filler and to help sell you in the words of your happy clients. So definitely sprinkle those in. Once or twice a month, I think is appropriate. Even some people do it weekly. I don't think that's out of line depending on what their other content is, but definitely want to sprinkle that stuff in. Yes. And then you want to take those. Well, let me back up. When you're sprinkling them in, take that opportunity to share a story about the project, about the client, about the challenge, about what you did. In your caption, share more detail about what it took to get to this happy customer, because now they're getting both sides of the story. And that's really going to be of value to somebody who is like, oh, I think I want to work with Nancy, but I'm not sure. Yes. That story, that testimonial could very well be the nudge they need to click and book that discovery call.
Get into the emotion of what they're feeling at the moment.
Absolutely. Yes. So now let's talk about the website piece, because you don't just want to smack on some testimonials and call it good. You want to be strategic with your placement. So for me, like those ones that talk about transformation. Oh my gosh, I took Nancy's program and I increased my income by threefold, in a year or whatever, some really powerful one. Use that testimonial in those places where you want to have them book the discovery call, where you want them to take action. And those really, like on that key moment on the homepage, that's like, now is the time to take action. You want to have that testimonial floating nearby, because it's going to be a nudge.
That's what I was going to ask you, floating nearby. So I'm thinking, here's the button, book your call. Do you do it above? Do you do it below? Do you do it on the side?
Depends on the design, and you want to make sure that it feels natural and organic and that it flows with the design, and your web designer can help you with that. But you want it floating nearby so that it's that extra nudge. It's like, yep, this is what I want. So do it strategically, and don't do the whole long paragraph. Okay. Nobody wants to read a paragraph. Take out the juicy bits. Take out those really juicy little tidbits that sell you and put it there. If you have a testimonial that's speaking specifically about a service you offer, let's say that you are a designer by your side as one of your key services. That's one that you share with your people. And somebody says, I couldn't believe how amazing my day went with Designer by Your Side with Susan. I felt at ease, comfortable, and confident about my decisions, and I love everything that we did. Like something like that. Put that on the page next to that service so that it gives the nudge. Yes. If somebody talks about how valuable you are in your insights, put that on your about page, because that is going to show you and your personality. If someone is saying contacting Nancy was the best thing I ever did, put that on your contact page. Like strategically place those testimonials so that it feels like part of the conversation and not just a blurb tossed in here and there.
Love this. Love this. Yeah. So we definitely pick and choose our testimonials based on if someone's applying to talk to me one time, right? So people who've done a one-off consult, on the one-off consult page, right? There's the testimonial about people who said, oh my God, I spoke to Nancy only once and it, changed my life, or whatever they say, right? But I like the idea of making sure the placement is right, not putting the full paragraph. And if you have too many sentences that you really want to get in there, bold or italic the key sentence that you're really looking for them to read, so that the scanners their eye is going to the bold, let's say.
I would agree with that. I say definitely avoid the very long ones because people don't want to do it. But if you just can't find a way to shorten it, then bold the really highlighted stuff.
What you want them to read out of that testimonial.
Because that's what they're going to see. But the other thing too, those really long ones, you can break them into multiple testimonials that you share on your, just because you have one from Nancy over here doesn't mean you can't have another one, so you can break them into multiple ones and really share that, share it in different ways. Like it doesn't have to be just one quote per person. Like you get to share multiple ones if you want to. And then I do want to talk about too, because a lot of times people are like, do I have a testimonial page? Do I not have a testimonial page?
Yes.
That's a really great question I get all the time. And my answer honestly is, do you want one? Flat out. Because in the world of web design, in the world of trends, I've been doing this for a long time. I see where they're absolutely necessary and request or say, oh, you have to have one. And I'm seeing the frame of thought that says, no, absolutely, you don't need one. Okay. It goes both ways and it fluctuates to what the rule is. So my question to you is, do you want one? Sometimes if your audience is more of the read and I want to absorb and I want to look and dive in, it might be of value to you. And then you can share those longer testimonials that you highlight in bold and things like that on a testimonial page if it really matters to you. Is it necessary? Probably not, especially if you're using them throughout your website. But if you feel that it fits along with your brand, then don't listen to whatever the rule is today, because it's probably going to change in a year.
Yeah. And I think it matters. Like when you were saying that, I think to myself, I think it matters how many testimonials you have also, right? Like if you only have 2 or 3, scatter them among. Don't have a separate testimonial page. Right?
Exactly.
But as you start gathering more, it's a lot. And again, depending on the type of person coming to your site, depending on your clients, if you're all referral based, then probably your testimonials isn't that important besides being scattered throughout your website. But if you're not referral based as an interior designer, and a lot of people are going to find your website and look, and you don't have a testimonial anywhere, that could be a problem for someone who's looking for some feedback.
Yeah. And the biggest thing I would say, the biggest hurdle I've come across for anybody is getting the testimonials. You have to ask. You have to make it easy for them, and you've got to reach out. And the free course, I share exactly how I do that with my clients.
Love it. Okay.
You definitely need to reach out and get those testimonials. If you don't ask, you're not going to get them.
Yes. And even sometimes when you ask, you're not going to get them. But with the tips that Teresa gives in her blog and in her course, you're going to be more likely to get them. And that's what you should be going for. Not giving up and saying, they're just not giving it to me. Try writing it for them. Try giving them an easy link. Try all the things and read Teresa's, go do Teresa's course. And you're going to get more testimonials, which you need for your business.
You absolutely need to have them for your business.
Yes. Okay. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. If you go to the blog, there is a quick little download checklist that's printer friendly if you want to do so. No email required to sign up, just a freebie. So check out the blog. Yep. And then the course, you do have to provide your email because because
it's your business that you're trying to grow.
Exactly. Because you get on my list and I share lots of good insights, but the course, you get access to the full course library when you sign up. So it's not like just a one and done thing.
Amazing. All right, guys, if you have not gone to caffeinecreative.io and looked at the free course, the free courses by themselves are so valuable. But then if you need your website redone, get on Teresa's calendar, talk to her about her process, how she does it, her philosophy on websites and what to do with it afterwards, right? You assist everybody even with the marketing after their website is created. So lots of value there. A great web designer. Don't sit with a shitty website for too long because it's not serving your business very well.
That's just right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.